So Jimmy Kimmel, from September 17th to 19th, Jimmy Kimmel has reportedly refused to apologize for his comments. And I think that's wrong. I think if you've said something that is wrong and inflammatory and insults, as I talked about briefly on X this week, one of the most offensive things is saying to Christians that a beloved Christian representative of yours was in fact murdered by another Christian. That's a very, very bad and insulting thing to say. So you should listen. If you've ever done, I do a lot of live shows. I'm high wire, public act, no net, right? If I say something really bad or wrong, then it's out there carved into the atoms of the dataverse from here to eternity. And so nobody's perfect, right? I've had to apologize and retract things over 20 years. That's natural. Nobody's perfect. But you got to own up for it. And you've got to, I've got a whole series of shows called I Was Wrong About, right? The things that I've gotten wrong. I don't have a standard of perfection. That would be blasphemous, right? Because in the Christian view, of course, only God and Jesus are perfect. So yeah, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody says things that later they're like, oh, maybe that wasn't ideal. That was wrong. And you just apologize and you take your lumps and you move on and you learn, right? You don't want to never make mistakes, right? Because if you never make mistakes, it means you're not really pushing the envelope. You're not testing the limits of what you're capable of and so on. Like when I play racket sports, sorry to use such a silly analogy, but when I play racket sports, I don't just do, my brother and I used to call it dinky tennis, where you just very gentle and you never get things out, but it's really boring to play that way. So you have to take risks. You have to push the envelope. You have to do the edge sport of skating on the edges of your abilities and certainties. And every now and then, of course, if you serve really hard, right? In tennis, there's a first serve and a second serve. The first serve is a blistering one because you got the second. The second serve is more gentle because you've got to get it in. So you're going to make mistakes, and the reasonable thing to do is to apologize, right? But the left is all about vanity and pride, right? Pride. So you can't apologize, particularly not to those awful Christians, right? So multiple sources indicate that Kimmel views apologizing as caving to political censorship and is standing firm on his remarks, despite pressure from Sinclair Broadcast Group and others to issue an apology and make a meaningful political donation to Kirk's family and Turning Point USA. Insiders have stated that Kimmel is, quote, unwilling to fake an apology he doesn't believe in and is prepared to walk away from his show rather than comply with these demands. Which is interesting. Certainly by September 17th to 19th, when a decision that you've made to say these terrible things is now placed under the scrutiny of detailed hindsight and the facts are out there. I admire people who stand by what they believe in. I have that standard for myself. I don't think you can ever find me publicly disavowing something that I know to be true, even though I've paid hugely heavy prices, obviously nowhere near what other people have paid, certainly not Charlie, but I've paid massive amounts of, I've gone through massive amounts of hardship for standing by what I know to be true. I would rather shut down everything I do than disavow something that I know to be true. There's been a lot of pressure and there's been a lot of offers and I just won't do it. I just won't do it. I'm here to talk about the truth. I'm not here to be famous. I'm not here to be loved. I'm not here to be liked. I'm not here to be admired. I'm just here to talk about the truth. And if I can't talk about the truth, I would rather not do this at all. So if people stand by what they know to be true, that's admirable, I think. Yet still it moves, right?